Everybody, welcome back to Politically Incorrect, where we talk about politics and the news and probably have a million people that disagree with everything we say on the show. So, we had a comment from the last video about the $15 federal minimum wage increase proposal that was put out by Joe Biden, the incoming president elect. And in that video comment, or in the comment on that video, somebody had recommended a topic on the student debt crisis or the college debt crisis, and my thoughts on the subject of removing or paying off, basically dissolving all the student debt in the country. This has been something a lot of people have been talking about and a lot of people have been asking for a long time. It has been a very heated subject, and I have a very different point of view on this one because, quite frankly, I don't think we should. I do not think we should abolish all the student debt in the nation. I think it would be very beneficial to a whole generation to go ahead and get rid of the college debt for a generation. I think that is the wrong course of action, though, for future generations. We've had a problem since the whole idea of or student loan has became a thing. When a student loan became a thing, the idea that this student can borrow obscene amounts or borrow the money to pay for college, and eventually, because you can't get rid of that student debt unless you pay it off. There's no foreclosing on it or going bankrupt on it. There's no way to dissolve that debt other than paying it off. That the college is finding this whole practice of a student loan has gained so much momentum within the industry that the industry has become an industry. College should have never been an industry. That is one of the problems with it. The whole idea of having student loan debt is something that shouldn't really be a thing. I could understand maybe a small personal loan, but not to the sums that these student loans are being made out for. College tuition has gone up so much since that happened at rates way higher than the rate of inflation. I think that it would be a good idea to basically ban the concept of a student loan. I don't necessarily think one could be done without doing the other one. I don't know how fair it would be to do one without the other or the other without one. There's a lot of debate, and I don't know if I think it would be right to abolish the student debt and then get rid of the student loan system, or to just get rid of the student loan system and let the people that already signed their names to these papers actually pay off the student loans. So I'm not sure how I feel about in that general constraint of which way I would go. But personally, I think we need to get rid of the student loan system, and there might be years. It could be a couple years for it to take effect. So there could be a couple years where college tuition is still going to be at this obscenely high level that it is now. But getting rid of the student loan system, I think, will bring back down the level of college tuition to the levels it was, not necessarily the levels it was before the student loans became a thing, but bring the level down to that plus the rate of inflation or close to that. I think that it's more manageable that people work, part-time jobs while going to school, or work go to school for a couple semesters and take a couple semesters off to work or something like that and work their way through college. I know that this would cause some issues. Like, obviously, some students with parents that are more well off, the parents are going to be able to pay their tuitions and they're not going to have to worry about working through college, and that could give them a leg up on life. Guess what? The world's not fair. Or this is going to cause an issue where it's going to be harder for people to go to schools outside of their general area. Like, it's going to be harder to go to a school in New York if you live in California, because then you've got You're going to have to work for the college tuition, you're going to have to work for the room and board and all of that. There is definitely some downsides to this idea. But the upsides to the idea is not saddling the next 4 or 5 generations of people in our country with an obscene amount of student debt. The alternative is to just make all the colleges free. But that's not going to make everything free. You're still going to have to work for room and board if you're doing out of state colleges. There's a lot of things there, and in general, making the colleges free isn't necessarily going to increase the quality of the education people are getting. It may decrease the overall college or the overall quality of the college education, and the other factor there too is who's going to pay for it. We're in turn going to be settling generations upon generations of our nation with tax bills that we have to pay for these schools that not everybody's going to go to. I did not go to college. I had no, that would be a lie. I did not go to college. I did want to go to college, but the field I wanted to go to college for, I was accepted and denied at the same time. I was accepted that they accepted the fact that that I qualified for the classes that I wanted to, but they denied me because I was overqualified for the classes I wanted to do. I wanted to do web design classes when I got out of college, and they straight told me, it's like, we're not going to be able to teach you anything in this class. And I didn't want to go into a different form of software engineering, so I basically self-taught myself everything else I wanted to learn in regards to software engineering, and I've moved out of that field now. Now I do manual labor for 10 to 12 hours a day, and that's yet another reason why we're moving to Texas, is I want to have more time. I don't want to work 60-hour weeks. That's also why I spend so much time working on my to learning my photography skills and stuff like that. But what I think we'll see a major shift with getting rid of the student loan programs is you'll see a lot more people working themselves through trade schools and less people working themselves through higher education schools, and people sitting down and taking a much, much better look at the kind of classes they're taking for their college education. We'll have a lot less people going out there and getting degrees and stuff that won't financially benefit them later on down the road, which I feel like has been a major problem. There's a lot of memes out there about it, guys. There's a lot of memes out there about people getting degrees that are absolutely just pieces of paper that will never do them any benefit anywhere in life unless somebody makes an entirely new career that fits that degree. That's not viable. That's not a viable thing. I think the whole college system in the United States is royally screwed right now, and I think it needs a top-down makeover. Not just getting rid of the student loan debt, possibly getting rid of the student loan debt, getting rid of the student loan system, and going to a system where people pay for their college education as they're getting it. And by getting rid of the student loan system, you're going to see a massive decrease in the college tuition rates because it is a factor of supply and demand. You can supply all the college you want, but if the demand isn't there, or if there's not enough people that can afford it to meet the supply, then you're going to have to drop the price to increase the demand. That's plain and simple. That is what is going to have to happen. You can't keep setting up these colleges with $250,000 educations. It's going to take people 20 and 30 years to pay off their college educations. And the tuitions are doing only one thing, going up higher year on year on year. And it's not practical. It is outpacing inflation, and something has to be done to fix the entire college education system in this country. We have some of the best colleges in the world. Now we need to figure out how to make them viable for our own students. We need to make them viable for the next 2 and 3 generations, because at the current rate, they're not going to be viable for another generation. We can't keep doing this. It's unsustainable. If you guys have any ideas for other topics you would like to get my thoughts on or hear me cover, let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for sticking around for this entire video. I know this one's probably going to be a little bit on the long side and possibly a little bit more on the ranty side than the last one. Anyways, I will see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. I'm going to try to grow this channel to 1,000 subscribers by 2022. Hopefully that's the goal. At least I would like to get this one to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And don't forget to share this video with some of your friends that you'd like to get their feedback on it, or some of your friends that wonder why it might not be as simple as removing the college loan debt. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one.